Married couple, this episode is for you. What's up, guys? It's your brother from another mother, Coach Kam Izzwan. In today's episode, both my client, husband and wife, will be sharing their personal journey in their natural competition recently. And before we begin, I'm in a mission to reduce 1% obesity in Malaysia, primarily focusing towards men and women above 40 years old. How can you help me? Like and share this video with your friends and family. Without further ado, please welcome Shaneal and Miriam. Welcome!
Yay!
Okay, so briefly share about yourself, Shaneal, with the listener and the viewer.
Of course. Hello, everyone. My name is Shaneal Diiren. I've been living in Australia for about the past 8 years. I currently run a personal training business there right out of Melbourne and been doing that for a couple of years now, just started scaling it up. So it's been exciting. And
Well
this
done.
was our first competition as well.
Yay. Miriam?
My name is Miriam. I am Shaneal's wife. And outside of fitness, I am a marketing manager. And I am also a fitness instructor. So
Right.
at the gym that Shaneal does his PT, I do group classes.
Right.
And yeah, I think the reason I got into natural bodybuilding was because of Shaneal,
Yeah.
and I wanted to do it with him and see what it was like, and now we're here.
Yay. Okay, so I'm very certain the viewers and the listener would like to know, how did actually both of you got started in this competition?
Oh,
Was it being forced by someone, or you wanna, do tell us.
well, this is interesting. So originally, I wanted to compete a few years ago because my brother is a competitor. He competes in the IFBB, and he's been doing that for a few years now. So I sort of on and off was thinking about it, never really had the confidence to do it. But last year, we sort of locked in a date for this year in April after we came down to support his competition. And we're like, you know what? It has to be done. Like, there's no more excuses, no more this and that. And we picked April as our date to get into it and stuck to it and executed it. I mean, May, not April, May. Yeah. So that's how I got into it. My brother has been a competitor for a very long time, and he encouraged me, strongly encouraged me to give it a try at least once. And let's just say this won't be my last time.
How about you, Miriam? Just being forced.
No,
Quite
not at
the
all.
opposite.
I think it was funny. So when we came to Malaysia in October for Shaneal's brother's competition last year, obviously Shaneal sat down with you and said, like, look, I think 2025 is the year that I'm going to compete. And in the back of my mind, I had kind of been thinking about competing, and I had never mentioned it to him. So when we all sat down, I asked you, coach, I was like, theoretically, like, if I wanted to, how long would I need to prepare? Because I was thinking in the back of my mind, like, I would need, a year of, muscle building, because I've been to the gym and, I've been fit for, a number of years being a gym instructor and stuff, but not to the level of like bodybuilding. So that's why I asked you. I was like, maybe I need more time. And you were like, oh, well, get on the scale. Let's see what happens. And you were like, yeah, you're good to go for May with Shaneal. So I was like, oh, okay. So I think, that was like, okay, a green light, like a sign I could do it. And then secondly, I was like, well, if I do it with Shaneal and we prepare together for May, then I will know for the future when he does it again what the process is like, what the highs and lows are like. So if I don't compete again, then at least I'll be empathetic towards that process. But yeah, I'm after the competition, I wasn't sure if I would do it again, mainly because it is very time consuming. Like, you have
Agreed.
to be very organized. You have to stick to a schedule, a routine.
Before we go there, we're going to discuss about being disciplined, time commitment. Now, you mentioned that you are already a trainer, okay, fitness instructor, helping people. Like, were you in a good shape already before you began your journey?
I would say yes, but I think you probably can agree with this, coach. Like, I didn't have enough muscle.
Yep.
little bit more background about my fitness instructor history. So I've been a Zumba instructor for a number of years, and then I took a break from that. Met Shaneal, we got married. COVID happened, so I wasn't an instructor for a while. But last year I went to the gym that Shaneal is now a PT, and they were looking for instructors. So I was like, oh well, I'll get back into it.
Right.
And I'd been training semi-seriously ever since meeting Shaneal. So yeah, I definitely was fit and active. I was going to the gym like 3 or 4 times a week, but I didn't have that, I guess, like regimented structure of nutrition as well as the weight training. I was just kind of doing it to be active and healthy.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay. Just gonna share with you all that Miriam started at, if I'm not mistaken, it's 15% or 16% body fat.
Yes.
Something ridiculous.
Yeah, it was 16%.
So basically, she's already lean enough. However, in terms of muscle wise, it's kind of low.
Yeah.
So the goal during the off season is to pack on as much muscle as possible with minimum amount of body fat.
Yeah.
Okay. So Shaneal, let us start. Last year during the off season, start with your preparation and the obstacles.
Off season. So one of the things about the off season was we had it around the time where we were doing a lot in our lives. It happened when we were moving house. I was growing my own business as well, and that took a lot of time. And my priorities weren't perfect, I would say. Like a lot of my priorities went into scaling my own business, growing all of that. And unfortunately, my training could have definitely been a lot better. It took a back seat because I had to fit it in with my clients' timings. I had to find the right time to train. And sometimes I just didn't really have the energy. Like, you do back-to-back sessions for like 4 or 5 hours, and then, you've got 90 minutes to yourself. Now you train. So my off-season obstacles are definitely timing. I didn't really prioritize myself as much as I should have. Now I know. And going into it this time, I'll definitely be a lot more prepared, I'd say. Because food-wise, we're also not as serious as we could have been, being really honest. Like, it was only during the prep for the cut that we locked in 110%. And now we really understand what it really takes to get the most optimal results.
Right.
So as far as off-season is concerned, it was definitely that. Like I trained and I watched my nutrition, but I was probably only 70% of the way there. It could have definitely been 100.
Okay, we started the off season sometime October.
Give or take,
right?
yeah.
Then holidays. How do you manage, your holidays? The food wise, the traveling.
Oh, that's a good question.
Christmas.
Christmas.
Christmas, Deepavali, New Year's. And we like hosting events. Like, we like hosting events for friends and family as well. We love cooking. And I think that love for cooking is actually a double-edged sword. A good thing about liking to cook and learning to cook is that we were quite controlled in our nutrition there itself. Like, outside of competing, we're quite clean when we eat, which I feel played into the part that we didn't go too much off course. But when it came to holidays and things like that, the simplest thing that we used to do was prioritize protein.
Right.
So it would have if we can't, we'll bring our protein shakes with us, our protein bars. We tend to prepare a lot of our food beforehand. We pack, if we say had to go away with a family trip for a few days and we know we can't get what we want, as much as we can. Wow. Protein bars, food beforehand. Sometimes we'll go to the convenience store separately, a supermarket, go, okay, what can we have? What can we not have? Buy that, cook it separately, eat. Of course, not fully strict. Like, there's some exceptions. Like, we will still eat the food that is served to us. We just won't go all out, go crazy.
Right.
Control it a lot more.
Okay, let us change the situation. Assuming that preparing off-season in Malaysia, is it doable? During your holiday trip, let's say during Deepavali in Malaysia.
Yeah.
Is that possible for you to do that?
I would say it's possible. There are different obstacles because you're with family.
Yep.
So family would probably insist on having more food. A lot more food. And not much vegetables. A lot of carbs. I think sometimes you'd have to sort of compromise on that. Have a meal or two, have the big celebration, but control it outside of that. Because we feel, when we have our vegetables, and it is easy to do it outside of celebration periods. You can definitely get your rice, your veggies, your protein outside of that. But one day Diwali, Christmas, who knows, Raya, Chinese New Year, all of it, we know family.
Right.
If we don't have the food for the most part, they'll be a bit upset with you. But that one meal, I don't think will jeopardize the entire process. You can have that meal and have fun. Yeah.
How about? Yeah.
I think that the other thing to add to that is that even when we're here in Malaysia, like we find a gym that we can go to, and we still make the time to work out, or we go for walks, or like whatever it is to like get our
steps and
movement and movement, and like outweigh the all the delicious food that we have.
So I can consider that as a routine, okay? But in terms of food wise, why I bring up this topic is because people that viewing this would say, but you guys are in Aussie, you don't have your family with you. I mean, you do, but like, how can you maintain the healthy food when you're with your family? It's because they're going to force you. So that's why I changed the situation, assuming both of you is in
here.
Malaysia. So how would you inspire people? Like,
actually, even when we were here, like I can talk from many years ago. My brother and I used to live at home a lot more with family. I think it comes in small doses. You can't just go to your parents and go, I can't eat any of the food.
Exactly.
Going clean. It'll be very upsetting to everyone. Exactly. No one's going to love that. We started small from that part. Like it's more like, call my mom. Mama, can we have some, just fry the fish. You don't want the curry. We start with smaller steps. Can we have a bit more vegetable? Let me cook the rice for myself. Maybe one meal we compromise, we cook.
Right.
Then breakfast, we have our own thing. We wake up a little earlier. Then dinner, we have with the family. So it's that kind of compromise. Even now when we're here, it's like breakfast we handle ourselves. I still have my protein that I buy and keep here for whenever I visit. We still prioritize that protein. And even say they serve the fish curry or the chicken curry, mutton curry, whatever. I take the meat. Don't take too much of the curry. Have as much vegetables as possible. Really add on that. Decent serving of carbs. Drink lots of water. Like try to stay away as much as I live my life. Yeah, maybe once in a while, but most of the time it's water. Because Oteo Lima ice lah. Because that will help you really manage your food intake while enjoying the food.
That's good.
That's my compromise here.
Okay, good strategy.
Yeah.
How about you, Miriam? Do you have any specific food that you want to eat when you travel?
Ice cream.
Baskin Robbins. I think actually no. So a bit of a funny story. So I love Baskin Robbins when we're here in Malaysia because it's not really a thing in Australia. So when we're here, I'm like, oh, let's go to Baskin Robbins. So that's probably like my one weakness when we're here in Malaysia. Also like
chocolates.
Well, that's because of the airport, to be honest. When we go through the airport, I'm like, Toblerone, yes, please. But no, when we're here with family, I think like probably my biggest weakness is like all the fried, like the papadum and the moroku. Like I just like snack. But yeah, otherwise I think like what Shaneal said, we usually ask the family very nicely, like, hey, can we just have some fried fish to the side? Or sometimes I'll have the lamb, like curries, and like we said, we'll just kind of take more of the meat than the curry itself. So I think I manage it pretty well as well. Like I think I'm one of those people that I've had a bit of a sensitive gut in the past. So like when we do travel, I kind of make sure that I stick to foods that I know my body's going to like and enjoy. So yeah, we always find a way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I just wanted to really quickly add to that.
Yeah.
Especially with family, because I'll use a very quick analog here when I train some of my clients that still live with their families. If you come from a place of respect and not like, I don't want to have the food, generally speaking, family members will be quite accepting of that. Right. If you say, mom, dad, or, even if it's your spouse or whatever, I'm going to be doing this for a while. Can I just have these options? I'll still enjoy this. Usually that compromise works in my experience.
Okay.
Yeah, I think like for an example, back in Australia, so it was Easter time when we were doing our cut for our competition. So that was like 3 or 4 weeks out from competition date when we had Easter in Australia. And Easter is a big deal in my family. So we had Easter lunch with my family, and Mum was messaging me the day before, and she was like, "Okay, what can you eat? Like, can I prepare anything for you, or are you going to bring your food?" Because we'd already had that conversation with my parents, like
So
being like, "Look,
understanding.
we're probably going to bring our own food, and I hope that's
Wow.
okay." And Mum and Dad were like, "Of course, like you're doing your thing, like." You know, if we can do anything to help, like let us know.
Right.
And that's what we did. Like we went on the day to have lunch, and Mum had cooked rice, so we kind of measured out our rice. She also had some potatoes, so we like measured out our potatoes. But we bought our own protein, so we took some fish with us, and we cooked fish separate on the stove to everyone else, and then we all still sat down.
We still ate together.
Yeah, we still all ate together at the table for Easter lunch. So yeah, it was, you know, again, manageable. Like if you have that discussion and you're transparent and everyone knows what's going on, then you can easily
You
still
still
enjoy
get
a
to
meal
sit with
together.
family.
Yeah,
That's the best part.
Yeah.
Totally agree. And I think it's because of the being positive and supporting. You know, like assuming me, both my mom and my dad, very supportive with what I do. But back then, before I start my fitness journey, if I say I want to eat grilled chicken, she'll look at me like, "Are you on a strict diet? So if you're not on a strict diet, you have to eat all this food first. You can diet tomorrow." You know, I have to listen, whereby I have a goal, you know. So it's slightly opposite, you know. So it's good that they are very supportive.
It did start like that in my family, though.
Yeah.
My mom, even when we started going to the gym, she's like, "Drop you off now. In exactly 1 hour, you have to come out." It's like, go up to the gym itself takes 10 minutes. Come down the escalator takes 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But when it comes to food, it was small steps as well. You're right. Like definitely the same thing. Like my brother and I, we started by just cooking our rice and eggs.
Right.
Maybe a bit of fish. And then slowly, I think is when you start showing results,
Yes.
positive results, like, oh, I feel better, I look better, I have more energy. Then mom was like, oh, okay, maybe there's something good going on. Then it slowly changed. It won't happen overnight. I think for us, it took like a year or two.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to proceed to end of the year, at the end of the off-season preparation, December. So December is where you start to move into the new place, am I right?
Yes.
Oh yes, last year. Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's when I look at the result, like what happened, like there's no changes at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, do share.
Oh, it was also. Hey, you want to go first with this one?
Yeah, I'll go first. So looking back, we started our bulk in October, November, and then we moved house in the end of November, early December. So we were in the new place end of November, and then December hits, and December is just crazy in Australia because of Christmas.
Yep.
So we were traveling to see grandparents on the weekends, and then we had something else on, and then we were unpacking the house, and then it was actually Christmas. So it was like every weekend we had something on.
Right.
And I was also studying part-time, and I had university assignments due.
Right.
So we were unpacking, doing assignments, visiting family.
So
it was just a lot.
You're overwhelmed, right?
Yeah, it was a lot. And I think, you know, when you have so much going on socially and mentally, it is hard to keep in track, like the training and your food. And I think as well, like when you're so mentally overwhelmed, your body will like show that as well. Like it just won't hold on to the muscle as much. I think personally, like that's what I felt.
Very true.
And I was sick as well. So after visiting my grandparents for Christmas, I then got COVID. So I was literally in bed for a week in December. So it was just, December was chaos. To be honest, it was chaos. But the funny thing is that like during Christmas week and New Year's week, that was actually a completely different week for me. The end of that week, I was doing my weigh-in, and it was like such an improvement, because during Christmas and New Year's I was resting. Yeah. Even though we had Christmas with my family and we had a lot of food, we were going to the gym in between Christmas and New Year's. We were measuring out our food. Like it was a time to actually rest and like, I don't know, get back into a routine without having, you know, work and all that other stuff. So yeah, that was actually like, yes. It got to the end of the week and I was like, yes, some improvement finally, after like weeks of, you know, kind of just nothing, no improvement. So yeah.
That makes sense. It was very hectic because even from my experience going into all of that, it was going into the end of the year from a work point of view, because if anybody out there is working in the health and fitness industry, especially if you're a trainer, you do a lot of split shifts when you start out. Yeah. So 6 a.m. starts, and then sometimes you finish at 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. And in between, there's like admin or there's nothing and whatnot. So my sleep was heavily compromised throughout the later part of the bulk into the end. Now I can safely say it's a lot better, but back then, sleep was my weakness. Like, I did not get enough high quality sleep. I'd always wake up, like, whether or not you believe sleep scores, I've got a smartwatch, so my sleep scores were terrible. Now they're good. So I figured that out. But towards the end of that, with the moving, Miriam being unwell, handling all sorts of paperwork, it really took a toll on my recovery. So recovery meant that I wasn't able to gain as much of the muscle that I needed at the end. I think I was short like 3 kilos or something. It was massive.
Yeah.
But looking back at that, like especially after the cut and after taking control of our life a lot more, it's doable. It's just a matter, like maybe that's a bit of a one-off, coach, if I'm being honest, but understanding how to do it and prioritizing, now that we know what is required, it makes a lot more sense how to do it, to execute it.
Reason why I want to highlight during the off season is because it's your first time competing.
Yes.
You don't know what's going to happen. And in advance already, I point out, if you follow what you're going to achieve, right? So you had many obstacles, very overwhelmed. And at the same time also, you can still refocus to compete because there are people out there with all this hectic and schedule, they just give up. Like, you know what, I can't handle this, I'm just going to quit. Maybe next time when I'm free.
Tell you what, it's never going to happen. Free.
I think the thing for me personally, I was so disappointed in myself, and like, I'm also kind of just like stubborn because I was like, oh, it's been 3 weeks since the start of December to like Christmas thinking about it. So I was like, it's been 3 weeks. I've been sick. Like, I've made no improvements. I'm like down 2 kilos of what I should be.
Oh no.
And in my mind, I was like, coach is going to be so upset with me. I just have high expectations of myself. So yeah, when that week of Christmas hit and I finally was, off from work and stuff, I was like, okay, this is it. I'm going to show coach that I can do this. And going into January and the new year, like full steam ahead, I'm going to be like super buff. I'm going to be like ready. So yeah, I was like, it was a full mindset change. I was like, I'm still going to do this. Like, I'm not going to give up just because we've had, 3 bad weeks sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's out. I agree. Because going into all these stresses gives me a good understanding as well with what, I'm not saying general population or my clients should be per se, but it gives me a good understanding of what they go through as well. Their roadblocks.
Very true.
Like in my head, I'll be like, you should be able to do this, right? Because it's that simple. But then after looking back at things, going into the competition, it's like, okay, I'm doing this much to get this result. So it makes sense. It makes sense sometimes how people see their obstacles and what they learn to prioritize and everything. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, good. Now, the off-season done. Pre-com.
Woo! We all shifted into high gear for that one. We definitely locked in because we were 110% like on the ball with pre-comp. Like I could safely say, like coach say, run 30 minutes, run 45 minutes. Oh, okay, I'll do that as well. My heart rate monitor, everything was done. To the T. I think our pre-comp was definitely the most dialed in. I can speak for both of us in that, I think. It was 110%, like 2 hours before, cow 2 hours before we're eating. Right after we're having that. Sleep on time. It was 99%. There were 1 or 2 days where we had other things that happened, like life, that we couldn't control. But 99% of it was definitely locked in completely. So from a pre-comp perspective, I actually felt good. I felt so awake, so fresh, like as tiring as it got towards comp.
Right.
That routine, eating, training, as time-consuming and tiring as it was, I remember telling Miriam, it's like, even except for peak week, everything else is like, I feel great. I feel so alert. Feel so present because the food was so dialed in, the nutrition was so dialed in, that despite the amount of effort required, it was nice. Very nice to do that. And we'll talk more about some of the roadblocks later.
I think for me, pre-comp, so Shaneal started his in end of Feb, and I started mine in like middle of March.
Okay, I'm going to touch on that a bit. One of the reasons why Miriam started mid of March, her body fat is low enough, so she don't need a long duration of cutting compared to Shaneal. That's one of the reasons why. Okay.
Yes.
Continue.
Yeah. So yeah, because of that, I was like a few weeks mentally behind Shaneal. So by the time I already started, he was already going through it. Like he was like, I'm hungry, I don't have food. And I was like, oh, this is great. So I think I agree with what Shaneal said. I actually felt really good during the cut and the preparation before comp. And the thing that surprised me the most, and I think talking about the blocks we had in December, and we probably weren't as strict with our food during the bulk as we could have been. But when I started my cut in March, I actually gained muscle, which was a surprise to everyone. And then I was able to pretty much maintain it until comp. So that was something I was really proud of, because I was like, oh, everything I've heard of when you're doing your cut, everyone's like, oh, you're going to lose all this muscle. Like, you're not going to be able to put any muscle on. And then within the first like 2-3 weeks of my cut, I had gained muscle and I was keeping it. And I was like, what is happening? This is really cool. So yeah, I think I was feeling really good. I was sleeping really well. Sleep was really good. The only time I noticed my sleep quality drop was coming to the end of the cut when I was doing those big carb load days. Right. I think on those nights my body was just like heaty and like had all the carbs in the system, so I wasn't sleeping well on those nights. But otherwise, like sleeping and waking up and being like, oh, I'm feeling good. Nice. Like got lots of energy. Like it was good.
Okay, share with us when your body fat dropped from 19% to 15% to 13%. Shaneal, the phases, the feeling, because people would like to know, like, how do you achieve 10%? What do you feel when you drop from 19, 15, 13?
So physically, 19%, holding on to all that muscle and fat. You still feel normal, you feel good and whatnot, but you don't really feel like you look your best, of course. Once you hit 15%, you're sort of like halfway there. You start seeing your abs a bit more definition. It's a bit of like a milestone. It's like, hey, you can go, keep going. Right. You start feeling a bit more tired, just a bit more. You're kind of like, okay, I'm not push. I need to rest a bit more during my sets and training. I can still get things done, but mentally, I'm still okay. I remember mentally, I'm still okay there at 15%. It's more just the psychology of, can I get to 10%? Yeah. That was the scariest part. I think I'll touch on that now a bit, actually. Sure. Because my biggest obstacle was, I think I was about 4 to 5 weeks out, and I did not see what I thought I should be at because of the nature of my prep and off season, and everyone's different, right? So now that I've learned what my body is capable of, I think Coach and I can agree, we know when to start, what to do for the next one. So I'm happy that we did this. I was this close to quitting at that point. Not really quitting, but this close to going like, is this really for me? Right. Like, am I going to do this? Am I going to embarrass myself on stage? Yeah. All those questions. And we had a great intervention conversation in April.
But before that, does someone influence you?
Yeah, that's also true.
Yeah, so that's the reason why Miriam contacted me, Coach. Could you please call Shaneal? I'm like, what? What just happened? Okay.
That ahead. Also happened because you get a lot of... I think what I learned from that is you've got to just trust the process realistically. You can't get too many conflicting opinions, because if you get those conflicting opinions, you are lost.
Exactly.
It can destroy your motivation. Yep. It can destroy all the work you've done, because it was going well. You just got to trust it. You got to be very honest with your weigh-ins. You've got to be very honest with your coach. That's the biggest part. I think I learned that the most because, again, just reflecting on how my clients talk to me, I can see what they do, and their honesty is like, I've had a busy week. They might weigh in incorrectly, and I'm guilty of doing that as well because I'm human. I make those mistakes. But after taking accountability and then going, this is the process, this is what we have to do, I need to trust it. Things got a lot better from 15 to 10. It was tiring, I can say, especially if you want to compete. Right. Like, sure, no average person, like if you want to just lose fat, you probably won't feel this, but I will say what happened. The last 4 weeks were intense. every day just felt like this machine that needs to get done.
Right.
It felt good in a sense of, wow, I'm actually doing this.
Right.
But from a business perspective, from a personal perspective, it felt like a zombie.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it though, coach, if I'm being honest. It wasn't a process I hated. I was experiencing it for the first time. So I was like, this is surprising. I did not know that I can have a brain fog like this before. It was at this point that I was training up my employee as well to help with the business. I remember catching myself having a conversation with him and just going, what was I saying? It's like, what did I say, John? What did I say? All of that. So mentally, it was more taxing.
Right.
Physically, I felt, especially a couple of weeks out, doing those morning steps, those 3,000 steps to get in. Sometimes your body just doesn't want to move. Mentally, you have to move. So all of that was happening at that stage. How I looked, though, I looked great. It felt good. Like you get out of the sauna, you get out of the shower, you look at yourself, it's like, that's me. That's the best feeling. Like looking the best you can. Like you wouldn't really know how well you can look until you get there. And when you're there, you're like, wow, this is possible. It's doable. And you feel so good. You feel so good in that part. I think that's the biggest motivator. Mentally, you might not be there, but physically, you're like, damn.
Yeah.
Okay, how did you, when you mentioned earlier, external factor influencing you, you feel down, how did you able to sustain from just giving up? Was it because of Miriam or is it because of I have a date of competition? What was it?
Multiple factors, I think. Well, one, it was good that Miriam was there because we had we were like pushing each other on, pushing each other forward. And coach's conversation with me also helped because it was kind of like, I remember out of the entire conversation from that call, the biggest thing is that I'm paraphrasing here, but coach basically said, you have to do it. So, okay, I have to do it. I have to lock in. Like, otherwise it will never happen.
Yes.
So I had to get it done. And then I knew, okay, I have to do it. That's all I have to do. And the competition is like 30 something days away.
Right.
And in those last 30 days was the biggest transformation. It was wild. Now, unlike Miriam, I did lose quite a bit of muscle, and that's just the nature of understanding what my first competition cut was like. We know what to do for the next one, but it wasn't yet.
To add on, it was because I add on the interval training.
She
doesn't have interval training.
That's true. Oh, I was so jealous because we would do our evening cardio together. So Miriam would be like, okay, I'm done. She'll walk off and say, okay, I'll see you at home.
45 minutes later.
So I'll do my normal zone 2 cardio. Then I'll stand there for a while. I'll contemplate life for a bit. I'll try not to cry. I'll stare at the vending machine. I'll drink some water. I'll stare. It's like, okay, let's go. Start sprinting.
Right.
Yeah.
That was wild. But even then, like towards the last couple of sessions of this interval training, just to get the heart rate up, you have to push harder than you ever have because your body is conditioned. You're also tired. To get to like 170 beats per minute, 180, whatever it was.
Right.
Don't think I've ever sprinted for that much, for that long, on a treadmill, on incline, just trying to get as much out. It was wild. So yeah, the interval training was just to get this last bit of fat off.
Yes.
The trade-off was that I lost a bit of muscle, but I got to step on stage. And that's the biggest takeaway because now I understand what the extremes can be. And I understand the stage. I understand the prep. But,
don't forget the posing.
Yeah.
The posing.
Oh my goodness. That was its own beast. If anyone has ever learned to practice an instrument, because in Malaysia, I think every second child has probably learned to play an instrument or something like that. And this is the analogy I could give. Practice makes perfect. Like you have to practice so much. And that's another thing. I knew I could practice a lot more. Like I think every day for 20 to 30 minutes is sort of the way. Just like practicing the piano or learning any skill, you need to do it for 20 to 30 minutes a day. You want to lose a bit of weight, you've got to do cardio 20 to 30 minutes a day. Zone 2. You want to get good at posing, you got to do it 20 to 30 minutes a day. It tracks for every skill. And
Agree.
I could definitely be a lot better in my posing. It was nice still to learn all these initials. And we had a posing coach back in Australia, Donna, and she was really good. Even with a great coach, you need to put in the effort. Like
Very
a great
true.
coach is not going to get you across the finish line. You've got to use those skills to get there. So again, like lessons for the next competition. Like I'm already excited to do the next one because I know what is required. I just have to execute it.
Nice. How about you, Miriam?
Uh,
Pre-com
Yes.
until a week before.
Okay, yes. So going from, so the highest my body fat got to was, I think, 18% is what we got to. So that's what I was starting at for the cut. And I think same with Shaneal, like the first probably 3-4 weeks of the cut, I was like, is this doing anything? I was feeling good. Like I did feel hungrier in the first week of the cut because of that initial drop, but then I got used to it very quickly. So I was feeling good. I think when I was doing my posing practice, that's when I noticed the biggest difference. I was like, oh, okay, like I can see that muscle. I didn't see that before. Like, okay, I'm obviously losing fat. Or for the ladies with bikini models, it was the waist.
Yes.
So like when I was practicing my posing, I was like, oh, okay, like I'm getting that taper, like my waist is looking really nice. And I think again, like the last 4 weeks, so going down from like 14% body fat to like almost I think I was almost at 12 when I was in peak week. So 13, 12. So I didn't get down as low as we wanted to, but again, when I did that last couple of weigh-ins, you said, oh, it could be because I was so depleted that the weigh-in wasn't actually reflecting the accurate fat percentage. But I think in the last, like even the last 2 weeks, I was like, wow, okay, like I can envision myself now on stage because I just dropped all this fat. And I think like for people watching, it's not like something that just like happens overnight, right. But it kind of does feel like that because you go from, looking a little bit fluffier or not being able to see your abs to like the night before competition where you've got a six-pack and you can see your triceps and you can see your quads, like, and you're kind of staring at yourself like all tanned up as well, like the night before, the last 24 hours. You're like, oh my gosh, like I look like the photos. Right. And then it kind of hits you that you're like, you've done all this work and you're now going to be that person who gets the photos on the stage and it's in the outfit and it's like, oh wow, I actually did it. Because I think in my head as well, like I went into this for, not with the mindset of I'm going to win. I went into this being like, I want to do this with my husband. I want to see if I can even do it. So, I think at the start of the cut, I did have that doubt in the back of my mind of like, am I even going to be able to do this? Like, is it going to work for me? I don't know. So, I think the last 2 weeks of prep when all that, like the fat started to drop and like also the water bloat. Right. Like the water bloat coming off, I was like, whoa, this is really cool. This actually works.
So this is where people want to know, what did both of you do to reduce the body fat in terms of nutritional wise?
Oh, well, simply put, prioritize protein, caloric deficit, and keep your fats at a healthy level because fats help with your hormones. So our protein went up and it stayed roughly the same for the entire cut. So it'll go up a bit more from the bulk. That's just to make sure that you keep your muscle. Carbs would drop incrementally over time as you got closer and closer to the competition. Or if anybody wants to do a proper fat loss phase, it's the same process. It'll drop over time and then you navigate from there. So from nutrition perspective, we kept our protein pretty high because we want to maintain muscle. And as we got later into it, as we started losing a bit more weight, we also trimmed off the carbs. And we kept it very clean. We ate a lot of vegetables initially until veggies were calculated as well. Right. And because we were so consistent, the veggies that we stuck to were frozen broccoli, frozen peas. And we used to make this because we were limited in our ingredients, right? So what we discovered, or what Miriam discovered actually, was you kind of steam the beans in a bit of boiling water. You drain that and you add salt and butter. It's the tastiest thing as well. Like you become very creative with your food. You become very you learn to use spice different ways. I bought seaweed to sprinkle over things. It was great.
I think for me, I was actually surprised at how much food I was still eating even up until the competition. And I think Shaneal was a little bit jealous because I was actually eating more food than him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was.
Which is crazy, like to think that I was eating more food than him. So, yeah, I think there was definitely times where probably like 4 or 6 weeks out from the competition, I have this distinct memory one day of I'd gotten home from my workout and I needed to have my rice and fish, my post-workout meal. And it was like 150 grams of rice, which is like tiny, right? You put that in the bowl and it's like, you want to cry. Like it's just so little. And then I had to have like 300 or 400 grams of fish with it. So it's like this little bit of rice and like all this fish. And I was like eating it. And I was like, I am so done. I don't want to have rice and fish ever again after this. But then like the next week, I'm cooking the exact same meal, the exact amount. And I'm like, oh, this is the best. So you like really flip flop between like, you know, loving the food and hating the food, but it's just, you have to do it. It's part of the process.
Yeah.
But
there's that weird thing that we found out that even after the competition, we're like, yeah, we'll keep some of these habits because they're so good. Like we're definitely gonna keep step counts up.
Yes.
We're gonna add a lot more. And the one thing about the food as well is that because we used whole foods and high volume, didn't feel as hungry, right? If you ate bread or pasta, done. That thing will digest in like 30 minutes, you're gonna be hungry again.
Yep.
Yeah.
But rice, veggies, fish, potatoes especially, if anybody wants to do even pumpkin is actually a good one.
Yeah.
Food that feels like it fills you up, that's the cheat code.
Yeah.
Like that, lots of water. Drink lots of water.
Yeah.
Keep yourself full.
Yeah. And I actually think as well, having butter in our diet, like we've had butter before, but I don't know, like I was, when we first started doing the cut, I was actually struggling to make sure I had all my butter by the end of the day. So I was like trying to invent new ways of having it. And that's where the beans and butter came in. I was like, oh, I'll just add the beans.
She had such a good time. She made mashed potato.
Oh, I was loving it. I was like, I'm just going to add my butter to my potatoes. And like, it was great. I was having a great time.
So even on a competitive cut, food did taste pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna hold that for a while. Now, many people assume that when you want to cut or look really good on stage, you're gonna suffer, you're gonna struggle, you're gonna feel like you're dying because the food tastes so bland. So now, both of you are describing the food is very enjoyable.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So you don't need to eat raw or boiled chicken or boiled fish. So you can eat in any cooking style within your macros and your calories.
Yeah, because we would still use like, curry powder, something light like that. Something that is, you don't...
Like dry spices.
Dry spices.
They were fine. And we've got lots of them at home.
Because we love cooking.
And I think as well, like chili flakes. I was really enjoying my chili flakes. And even like you can still use salt until you're using until like the last 2 weeks is when you start doing salt manipulation. So like through the cut, we were still having salt and pepper and things like that.
Still tastes great.
Yeah, you get like obviously you know 1 week you're like, oh, I'm not liking this, so you try something else, and then the next week you're like, oh, I'll go back to that. So as long as there's no additional oil or anything in it that could muck up your measurements, then it was fine.
And if you think about it this way, like I think a lot of people will think, oh, cooking for yourself is time consuming, this and that. For the prep, you can argue that there is a bit of time consumingness to it, but generally if you want to do this, because it's so simple, it actually saves on the time. Because there's not many ingredients to use.
100%.
Just pop, done. You know what you have to do. You go into the kitchen, pop. You can do that while talking.
Yes. Yeah. And you get to a point where it's such like, you're just like a machine. Like you're doing the same thing.
Routine.
Yeah.
Simple routine.
Yeah.
Okay, now the final day. Stepping on stage.
Do
share.
Yes. Do you want to... Okay.
You go first.
I'll go first. You want to do your night before thing as well?
Yeah.
Again, first time competing. Everyone's different on stage. So we arrived there. It's a different vibe when you're there and you're backstage and watching everybody else who is either first time or a serial competitor, because they don't discriminate, right? You're probably up against someone that's been competing for 10 years,
right?
Versus someone that also is like you, who's a first timer. And it was Miriam and I, and we had a friend volunteer to help us. He was great.
Nice.
So he helped us out. So we were just all standing there with our bags. We're watching people walk around with like pit crews worth of people.
Like 3 people around
Three
them
people, a coach, everyone was there. So you get to see all sorts of things when you're there. But I remember when we were getting ready in the morning, we're having our first meal. It's like 6 a.m. and another at 10. It was very simple. I was like, okay, 200 mils of water, a bit of rice, a bit of fish. That's it. So that's probably where a lot of the stereotype of bland food comes from, right before the show.
Yeah.
But by then, you're kind of in the zone. You know, you show up, it's very calm. There's not very much anxiety. And then...
Yeah, it was just kind of, I don't know, in the last 24 hours, there's really not much you can do. You're just kind of, you're like, well, I've done the work and now it's just time for me to show you what I've done.
Yeah.
So you just, I think there was, both of us, we were like, well, there's no point worrying. Like, we're here now. Like, it's not like we can do a whole bunch of bicep curls and like make our muscles bigger. Like, it's not going to do anything. So, yeah, I think it was just kind of, it was calm. We were like just waiting for the moment to go onto stage. Yeah.
But that part was fun. So you get your top coat done on the day. So you got your base coat. You got to sleep in like a onesie to make sure you don't stain anything. That's fun. That's its own thing. That's its own experience. You're like walking around. You look tanned. Took a while to come off as well. Then you go there. You get your top coat done. You're eating. You're watching the other competitors step on stage. It's a whole environment. You make some friends as well. You're going to be competing against them, but you tend to make some friends, and it's quite a supportive environment. People just cheer you on. It's actually very, very wholesome. I think bodybuilding gets a lot of bad rep being this and that and whatnot, but when you're there and you're amongst competitors that have put in about the same amount of even more effort as you have, you feel grateful to be with them.
Nice.
And then so we were there. You know, have your last bit of food. You're pumping up. You see people step on stage, and then boom. They're calling you, all right, number so-and-so, go backstage. All right, cool. Then you're pumping up there as well. And then you see other people do all sorts of crazy pump-ups, people with their coaches pulling them this way, slapping them on the back.
Right.
And you're like, should I do that as well? Should I, is that something that I should do?
Oh my gosh, the slapping. There was so much like, coaches like slapping the muscles, and I was like, whoa. I was like, that's insane.
So it's like, and you see people doing push-ups, and you're like, should I do more push-ups? Maybe not. So all sorts of those thoughts happen, but then you line up. How much nerves do you get on stage? Eh? You know, they call you, you see the first person go on stage, and they're like, okay, you pose, you go to that corner of the stage, and then they called my number. And it's as you rehearsed, you know, you go up there, you're smiling, the judges are down there, you hear your name being cheered, friends and family are there, it's good fun. And then you just go through your routine. It's over in such a short time.
Yeah.
It's over in such a short time. So you're up there. Sometimes it could go on, but on average, you're there 2-3 minutes. Turn, pose, do your pose down, and then the medals are given. And then you get off stage and you feel so happy that you did it. Nice. You're like, oh, I can't wait for the next one. It's like, geez, did you see that guy? I was on stage and you won. He's like, yeah, oh, wow. And then you get so hyped up for the next one. It's like, I want to do this again. Let's go. It's like, I know what I have to do. It's a great teacher stepping on stage because you are being judged for your hard work. There's no cheating that. It's the most honest thing you can do when it comes to competition in sports. Because that's it. All your work is amounted to those 10 seconds or however.
Did you expect to get any placing?
No, not really. I was nervous because it was kind of like, I know I could have done better. I know, you know, all the coulda, woulda, shoulda. I could have been better this, could have been better that. Now I know what to do. I was like, I need to come back with at least a medal. So when I stepped on stage and for the first time I got third place, I was like, okay, that wasn't too bad. It's scary. Like you can't really process it on the day, I feel. But then you start reflecting and you're going, okay, if I can do that and I can get like, I don't know, silver.
Yay.
Yeah, no, that's a start.
Congrats.
You kind of reflect and go, what can I do better next time to get the gold or to place, to even get overalls? Because you see some of these people that have been competing for a while, and sometimes you get a first timer that smashes everything.
Right.
Well, good for them. But you kind of wonder and go, okay, this has just happened. I'm ready for the next one. And I'm definitely ready for the next one because I know what I've lacked at. In fact, the president of the of ICN basically told me after my comp. Yeah, Tony. Tony was like, your physique is great. You just have to come in a lot tighter.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I can definitely do that. At least I got some feedback.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I think just to add to that last bit that you just said, it was crazy because like seeing Shaneal practice his posing, like even the night before and the morning of the competition, wow, like his physique looks great. Like look at all this hard work he's done. And then he went on stage and looking at his lineup, it was just like, whoa, like I agreed with you and coach when he was like, and Tony by that sense that was like, you could have come in tighter because once you're comparing you to the other, you know, competitors, it's wild out there. Like you still had an amazing physique and you'd done so well, but like at the end of the day, it's like, who did the best? Like you can't.
So you can't lie about that.
Yeah.
And that's the best part. It's a very honest comparison. People can see.
Yeah.
Eyes don't lie.
Yeah. And I think if you're in the industry and you are a competitor, you can tell the difference. Like on the day we had some family and friends there to support us. And when we said to our family, like, oh, you know, Shaneal's waist needed to be a little bit smaller, like if you look at the other competitors, and they were like, what? Yeah. They were like, what do you mean he needs to be smaller? And like we were trying to explain like, oh, you know, see this part of his like taper here, like that just needed to come in a bit more. And they were just kind of like, I don't understand because it is hard. Like if you don't fully understand what it's like and what the judges are looking for, you know, you're looking at it from an outside perspective. You're like, wow, this person is super fit. They've done so much work. It's hard to like notice the differences. So yeah.
And for you,
what was your day?
For me, the last 24 hours
she almost
was an experience. So okay, first of all, my tan. I am the whitest of whites. Okay, so I had to get like so much tan on for my base coat the day before. And as Shaneal mentioned, we wear these onesies that you cannot take off in between your base coat and the next day. So you're literally in this thing for like pretty much 24 hours. And for the ladies, it means that you can't sit on the toilet because otherwise your tan will come off and you get all these weird marks. And because you're in a bikini, you know, you can't just like have this weird patch on your butt. So I knew that and I did know that, except when we got home, I was in peak week mind, and at that point I was doing some weird things. So like in the last probably 3 days before competition,
you left the stove on.
Yeah, and it was weird. I never do that. I left the stove on twice in the last 3 days of peak, and I never ever do that. So like I was probably behaving and like weirdly, and I was really tired. So when I got home from doing the tan, I knew I couldn't sit on the toilet, but I went to the toilet and just out of habit, and we'd had put glad wrap or the cling wrap on the toilet because they were like, do that for the boys, don't stain the toilet, blah blah. We had that, but then I sat down and I was like, immediately noticed what I did and stood up, but it was already too late. I had this big mark on my butt, and I came out to Shaneal and I was in tears. I was crying. I was like, I ruined my tan. There's no point to go on stage, like blah blah. And it was just, the emotions were very high. But it ended up being fine. Like I messaged the tan people immediately saying this is what's happened, and they said it happens all the time. And you know what? The next day they fixed it, and you couldn't even tell. Like if you look at the photos, you wouldn't have even noticed that there was drama 24 hours before. Like it was, and I think it's just you get to this point of like it's tomorrow, it has to be perfect. Like, and it really got to me, and I was like, oh well, I've mucked up my tan, there's no point. Even though that wasn't the case, it could have been fixed. But yeah, and then the morning of, I think again for the ladies, it's such a different experience compared to the men, because we get there really early to get our hair done and our makeup done, and in between getting hair and makeup, I have to have my cookies, my last bit of carbs, and then I have to get my top coat, and then I've got to do my pump. So it was like,
oh my God.
It was like we got there at, I think, what did we get there? We got there at 9.
Yeah, something like that.
9 o'clock or something.
The show was at 1.
Yeah, and I had to be on stage at 1, and it was just like nonstop. I got my hair done, cookies, got my makeup done, and then pumped, and then got my tan, and then pumped, and then cookies. I was running to the stage, and it was just crazy. It went so fast. And then yeah, I like for my first division, I remember standing there in line, waiting for my name to be called, and I had a little bit of a different experience to you. My heart was just like,
Ooh.
and like, you know, the feeling behind your ears when you're no, I wasn't ringing, but like I could feel the pulse.
Oh,
My ears. I was like, am I about to pass out? But yeah, I just was like, and I remember standing there and I closed my eyes and I could hear the because being tall, I was at the back of the line, so I was like, great, I've got extra time. So other competitors were going onto the stage and I was just standing there and I closed my eyes and I just like was taking really deep breaths and I was imagining this scene that I have in my head when I've done meditation in the past of like there's a river, there's a forest around me, and I was just like breathing and letting all the stress and anxiety go down the river. And I was just thinking about that. I was like, you're going to have fun. Just go on there. You're going to do your posing. You practice your posing. You've done everything. You look good, like makeup, tan, everything. And then as soon as I went on the stage, it was like, okay, this is it. And the nerves went away very quickly. Like I was still shaking, of course, on stage. But then as soon as and that was the one that I got my medal, my third medal. So, which was another thing, like I was waiting for the final call of like who's going to get their medal. And in my head, like the day before the competition, I was like, okay, if I get 5th place, that would be nice because in ICN 5th place, you do get a medal. And I was like, oh, if I get 5th, then I'll get a medal and I can go home and be like, I got a medal. So when they started calling out the names and 5th place went up and then 4th, and then I was like, no. I was like, I've missed. There's no way I'm going to be top 3.
Right.
And then they called 3rd and it was my name. And I was like,
what?
What just happened? So yeah, that was really incredible because it was the first time I was on stage and I got my 3rd medal and then I came off stage and I just was like, did that actually happen?
You even placed for overalls.
Yeah. So I did 3 divisions in total and the second time I was on stage, the nerves got to me again, which I was surprised about because I was like, oh, first time on the stage was great. Like second time, let's go. But when I did one of my quarter turns, because my legs were still shaking, I lost my balance a bit. And I think because of that, I didn't get into my quarter turn fast enough. And then after that, they moved me. And if you know the logistics of being on stage, when they move you, it's usually a sign that you're not going to be in the top 5 or 3. So I got moved all the way to the end and I was like, that's not good. So I didn't place in that one, but it was fine. I was like, well, you know what? I still got my medal. And then I had the last division, which was overalls. And that was where like there were people there who have competed all year or for at least all of season A. So the first start of the year. And I was like, I'm just doing this to see what happens. So I went on stage and I just was like, I'm going to have fun. I'm just going to pose my heart out and just enjoy this because it's the last time I'll be on stage. And they were calling out the names and I got 5th place for overall. So I was like, wow, that's so cool. So yeah, it was a big achievement. I think especially for overalls because it was, all those people that I was coming up against. So and then went off stage and then ate the rest of the cookies. I was like, cookies. Oh, and I had an Easter egg because I couldn't have an Easter egg during Easter. So yeah, that was my comp day experience. Yeah.
Great sharing. So at least now people know that it is very doable. And being on stage is not as, it may be easy if you know things in advance. And so I mentioned to you, after the comp, we're going to feel very hungry. Please bring your sandwich. So I mentioned everything in advance. So there's a process. And both of you has potential to do very, very well. So make sure during the off season, utilize the off season.
Oh, this time, yeah.
Okay.
I've locked that in.
Plan, organize, and be consistent with it. Okay. So before we end, your very best advice to ladies and gentlemen out there that would want to experience competing for the first time, what would be your advice, Shaneal? Let's say, not just a man, a husband.
Honestly, if it's especially if it's not just a man, if it's a husband, someone who's in a relationship, girlfriend, husband, whatever, a boyfriend, husband, whatever. I think you should be open to communicating with your wife or girlfriend a lot more about these things, because there'll be some days where you can feel irrational, some days where, you might be committing a lot, working out and whatnot. Your mood will not be 100%.
Agree.
So communicate that through. We had a, touch wood, very good prep communication because we were open from the start. So none of that things that people complain about, because you're going to spend a lot of time training. You're going to spend a lot of time preparing your food. You might have to say no to a lot of social events and all those things. But in the end, you're doing this for yourself, and enjoy that process. I think we became better in our relationship after this competition.
Yeah, it was kind of, I don't know, like I think for me, before we even started the cut, so during the bulk, we knew that there was a chance that we were going to have mood swings and be irrational during the cut, because when you lose your body fat, your hormones can spike, there's a lot that can happen with your body. So we knew that, and I think for me, because Neil was 4 weeks ahead of me, so he started his cut before me, so he was kind of going through those mood swings, and for me, I was like, I'm just going to navigate it, and I'm not going to mention anything to him, because if I brought up his mood, it was just going to make it worse. So it never got to a point where I felt uncomfortable with his mood. It was more just kind of like, okay, he's having a day, or he needs to eat, which was most of the time the case. He was just so hungry that he got snappy or something like that.
Right.
And yeah, it was just kind of just have to accept it. Like, there's no point starting an argument, because nothing's actually wrong. It's just that he is hungry, or his hormones are spiking.
Yeah, it's usually just hungry.
Yeah, it's just, there was no point bringing it up, because in a few weeks' time it was all going to be over, and we would have worked through it together, sort of thing. So, and yeah, I think I agree. Like, it was this weird moment, probably like 48 hours after the competition. We like both looked at each other and we were like, wow, I think I've fallen in love with you all over again.
Oh,
it was just this incredible feeling of like, wow, we did that together. And that's really hard. Like, people were saying to us before we did this, they kind of were like, oh, good luck. Like, they'd laugh at us and they'd be like, oh yeah, like, good luck. You never do that together. You never prep together. It's going to be a disaster, sort of thing. So I think it just, like, after the competition, it was like, we showed them.
Nice.
It can be done. Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
Congrats. And for those of you guys listening or viewing in Australia, you can find Shaneal at
right. Shaneal _Diiren. So we'll have that like typed out somewhere.
and if they want to hire you.
Okay. So yeah, just either DM me on Shaneal _Diiren or follow the link tree to apply for coaching there. Thank you.
For women out there want to get inspiration from ladies, how do they?
Yes. Very similar. It is Miriam _Diiren. And I'll be kind of posting some lifestyle, fitness, traveling.
Nice.
I'm also a aspiring entrepreneur, hopefully in the next 12 months. So there might be some marketing and business stuff in there. But yeah, I think I would recommend to any ladies out there who want to compete and you don't know what it's like, just message someone who's competed.
Yes.
Because I had a friend who was that person for me. She competed in the past, and she wasn't a coach. She's not a PT or anything. She's just competed, and she was a huge support, because I was able to message her and be like, hey, this might be a stupid question, but like, did you feel this when you were doing this? Or like, how do I get my bikini? Or where did you get your shoes from? Like, there's all these things, I think, for the girls that you don't know unless you ask someone.
True.
So yeah, if any girls out there, you have questions, feel free to DM.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, Shaneal, Miriam, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
For sharing all this journey. We give a lot of understanding for those who maybe want to compete future. Right? So that being said, thank you very much kepada anda yang mendengar. I'll see you guys again in the next episode. Take care, guys. Peace out.